The China Report for Monday, May 30, 2013. China denies hacking claims, says it doesn't need U.S. tech. The Chinese Defense Ministry has rebutted claims in the U.S. government report that it is systematically stealing American military secrets, and points out that China is producing enough of its own. This is an outright lie. China has been stealing foreign technology for years, but now claims they have developed technology on their own. This absolute hypocrisy is evident when looking at China's only aircraft carrier, which was not even made in China, but is an old Soviet carrier. Nearly every modern weapon system in the world is based on Western technology and innovation. This will all be interesting grist for the mill when President Obama has his first meeting with the new Chinese president next month. Many topics will no doubt be on the agenda, but based on the current row, online tactics will be high on the list. China is the electronics rubber band for the world. Did you ever wonder what happens to your old laptop or cell phone when you throw it away? Chances are some of your old electronic junk will end up in China. According to a recent United Nations report, China now appears to be the largest e-waste dumping site in the world. E-waste, or electronic waste, consists of everything from scrap TVs, refrigerators and air conditioners to that old desktop computer that may be collecting dust in your closet. Many of these gadgets were initially manufactured in China. Through a strange twist of global economics, much of this electronic junk returns to China to die. According to United Nations data, about 70% of electronic waste globally generated ended up in China. Much of the e-waste comes through illegal channels because under United Nations conventions, there is a specific ban on electronic waste being transferred from developed countries like the United States to countries like China and Vietnam. For the past decade, the southeastern town of Guyu, nestled in China's main manufacturing zone, has been a major hub for the disposal of e-waste. Hundreds of thousands of people here have become experts at dismantling the world's electronic junk. Is China buying up the world? This week, the largest acquisition of a U.S. firm by a Chinese company was announced. Chinese pork producer Shuanghui International had an offer of $4.7 billion accepted by U.S. meat giant Smithfield Foods, the world's biggest pork producer. Just a fortnight earlier, China State Grid, the world's largest utility firm, said it was investing in a couple of companies in Australia. And China is also branching out into movies. The new owner of U.S. cinema chain AMC Theaters, Wanda, is Chinese. Overseas investments by Chinese firms require permission from the government, because the country controls capital movements across its borders. But that is rarely a problem if you are in an area favored by the Chinese government, such as food, technology, resources, etc. In other words, when a Chinese firm wanted to buy Hummer, which makes the giant off-road vehicles, that wasn't approved. In fact, the government is pushing for more overseas investment as part of its Going Global policy, which was launched in 2000. The aim is to create multinational companies, with a particular emphasis in the areas that are important to support China's economic development. One way to create multinationals is to buy existing companies, especially trusted brands, as the Chinese companies hope the goodwill associated with these names will rub off on them. Lenovo's purchase of IBM's PC business, as well as the use of the IBM brand name for 5 years, is the most prominent example of this. The aspiration was to make Lenovo synonymous with a global brand known for its quality. The deal also showcases some of the difficulties, however. A key one is that businesses that are for sale aren't usually the most successful ones. So what firms such as Lenovo try to do is to make the products more cheaply. A typical Chinese merger and acquisition strategy involves cutting costs. Plus, the product can be sold to a larger market. A Chinese owner can offer entry into one of the biggest consumer markets in the world. This can work, but can't be taken for granted. That's the China Report for today. Zaijian.